The internet is always good for a surprise. Who would have thought that quizzes online would be such a big thing? The platform Playbus made in 10 months from 0 to 80 million viewers. Wow. I'm really, really glad that Shaul Olmert is here with me today. He founded Playbus. Shaul, what do you think? Why was this such a big success?
So I think that there are many reasons behind it. I think that the way people consume information has changed. People are no longer patient enough to read long articles or even view long videos. The kind of experiences that really drive user engagement are very snappy, very quick experiences that are very interactive and very social by nature. So what we did at Playbus is we created a platform that enables every content owner, every publisher, every website, every app developer to very easily create those kind of experiences with their own content and very easily publish it. And since it engages users, it got a lot of traction and became very big over a short amount of time.
So users want to have snappy content. What does it mean for established publishers who live on high quality content? What can they do on the internet?
So first of all, it complements existing content. It's it doesn't mean that if we work in Germany with the likes of Bild and the Welt and Focus, they don't need to stop creating articles or stop creating videos. But alongside their long-form content, they're also creating short-form content using the Playbus platform. And there's no distinction between high quality or low quality. The content is still created by the same people of those editorial teams that create the best content in Germany. So it's still high quality content. It's just packaged in a light and very accessible format.
But I guess someone who writes really long print articles and do a lot of research, to tell him, please make a quiz for a website is probably not what they want to hear.
I think that editorial is evolving. The world of publishing is evolving. And ultimately, you cannot continue to create content just because that's the kind of content that you like to create. If you want to engage audience, you have to create the kind of content that your audience wants to consume. So that's why we're providing the set of tools. Since publishers are not technology companies, they can't develop new products, new formats of content. They are good in editorial. So we let them continue to do what they do best, to create great content, and we're just giving them the set of tools to make sure that this content is most likely to be adapted well by their audience.
But are they really engaging in it? I have the feeling that there's more like a fight between established publishers and new forms of content online.
I think we're past that stage now. I think that it's true that the internet was a very big disruption for the world of print or the world of media in general, and social media that emerged in the past, 5 to 10 years has really rocked the boat again. But we're at a different stage now. I think publishers and media companies realize that they need to play the game, that they need to make their content more social, that their key to success is making their content viral, establishing presence on social media networks, and we are giving them the tools to do that. So, I think that they are very receptive to our offering.
So Playbus finances themselves through native advertising, I assume, or?
For the long run, our business model is going to evolve. For now, everything we do, so all of our thousands of partnerships with the world's biggest publishers are all free. We don't monetize them, we don't charge them, we don't insert ads, we don't get any revenue share. It's completely a free service. But just like many other free services on the internet, like YouTube and like Twitter, the fact that we were free, the fact that we were frictionless, the fact that we provided a set of tools for people and businesses to be successful with made us grow as fast as we did. And for the long run, we'll introduce optional monetization options that will ultimately make the company grow even further.
So you're not using native advertising at the moment?
Not at the moment, but I think it's a natural extension. If you look at the business models of YouTube, they're using sponsored clips. If you're looking at the business model of Twitter, they're using sponsored tweets. Facebook are putting sponsored newsfeed posts. So I think it makes every sense to, rather than create advertising which is artificially injected as kind of a necessary evil, kind of an undesired side dish that interrupts your flow of experience. Rather than that, create stuff that actually resonates well with the flow of experience. So it's early days for us, but we're definitely looking in those directions.
So the future is content marketing in your eyes and not advertisement?
I think it is to a large degree. I don't have my crystal ball here, so it's very hard for me to make accurate assumptions about the future. But I will say that when you look at mobile consumption, our screen is getting smaller in comparison to desktops and even tablets. And on this small screen, I want to say the plate is not big enough for a main dish and a side dish. So, you kind of have to make the sponsored content or the monetized element a part of the main thing, because otherwise it's very hard to crumble the two together in a very small environment.
I mean, a big topic is also personalized advertisement, but I just thought about how this would work, but I can't. So you like this quiz about Disney characters? You might want to see the new Disney movie. Would this also be
Sure, let's just say that, I think a great example would be, and we have that today, it's just not our primary focus, and maybe it will become one day. So let's say that a movie studio is releasing a new movie. They want to create brand awareness and engagement. They want people to get to know the characters and the storyline and hopefully watch the movie. So it's their interest, if they created a quiz about the characters in the movie and let people experience it, it will be a great way for them to get the audience familiar with their brand and brand attributes, to feel attachment to it, and ultimately drive up the amount of people that will end up transacting and watching the movie. So I think it's a great example for how native playful formats can really play into the hands of marketeers in order to create engagement that is a win-win. It's a fun experience for the users. They engage with it, they spend time, they enjoy, they even share the result on social media, so they really like it. And at the same time, it also creates monetization for the content owner and creates more business for the advertiser.
So there are definitely lots of possibilities what you can do. You founded your startup in Israel, and I really don't have any clue of the startup scene there. Like, is it big?
So you are cordially invited to visit Israel. Israel has more startups per capita than any other country in the world. It also has it's second only to the US in terms of number of technology companies traded on the public stock exchange. There's more venture capital money invested in Israeli technology companies than in any other area of the world outside of Silicon Valley and Boston. So the Israeli startup scene is huge. And in a different conversation, we can talk a lot about the foundation and roots of it, but there are very concrete reasons for why it evolved so much. And we're proud to be a part of it.
So can you exploit that? Because now you're doing also business in Germany. Is it like with US and Germany that you can just look, okay, what works in the US and then just copy it in Germany? Is it the same with Israel and Germany?
It's similar and it isn't. Like we find, so as you said, our primary market is the US market. We are now migrating into Germany as well. It's a very important market for us, and we began to work with some of the leading publishers here and are seeing great success. I think I showed you just before the interview that our most successful item right now on the network is from Germany, so it's a good example. I think that there are a lot of similarities because, when I grew up in Israel, I grew up in a very different environment, and an environment that someone at my age, you are not my age, good for you, grew up in Germany, or that someone at the same age grew up in the United States. But today, since we all use the same media, we're exposed to the same content, there's a much wider cultural common denominator. So, I find that a lot of the things that work in the US work in other markets as well. At the same time, the German market has its own unique characteristics. For instance, one of the most popular topics on Playbus in the US is American football, NFL. And here it's completely not popular, but what they call soccer or what we call football, like the Bundesliga or the Champions League, is very popular in Germany. So there are different topics of interest, there are differences in the advertising market and to some degree in social media consumption, but it's still pretty similar. Facebook is still the dominant social network in both countries. The consumption patterns and sharing patterns are very similar. So we find that there are a lot of synergies.
So you can adapt some scenarios, but you really have to know your market still.
Yeah, it's always, whenever we enter a new market, and Germany is our first experience after the US, but I think we'll run into the same phenomena in other markets as well. You have to play the game that you are an expert on, and then assess what works. And not everything is going to work. Hopefully, some of it is going to work. But then you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to see that, maybe people here like to have longer experiences, and maybe people here like to experiment with different content topics. And maybe people here share different kind of messages than they do in other markets. And we are beginning to explore the different subtle differences and there are subtle differences, but in the big picture, I think there are also a lot of similarities.
So this startup market in Israel is pretty huge, so I would like to make an educated guess that Playbus is not the last surprise from Israel here in Germany. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you so much.